Adriana Dominguez, and welcome to the second episode of Youth Matters. Here, I talk about the challenges and issues that teens face nowadays. This episode is about the rise and effects of teens' mental health at home. We'll mainly be touching on depression and anxiety because they're one of the more diagnosed mental illnesses and they're one of the more well-known ones. So, according to U.S. Black Engineer, as of September of this year, 11.5 or 2.7 millions of teens suffer from depression. And according to the Zebra, as of January of this year, 4.5 millions of teens are diagnosed with anxiety. Because this episode is about the rise and effects of teens' mental health at home, I will shortly be talking about the relationships between a child and a parent. So, according to the Chronicle of Evidence-Based Mentoring, as of March 2020, at least 40% of children have a weak relationship with their parents. And according to Act for Youth, as of September 2022, 23% of teens under the age of 18 only live with their mother, 3% with their father, 4% live by themselves without either parent present, 2% live with their grandparents without either parent present, and 1% live with other relatives without either parent present. There are many factors of when being diagnosed with depression and their anxiety, one of the major ones being hereditary. So, mental illnesses such as depression and or anxiety can be passed down from one generation to another. You can sometimes skip a generation. According to Stanford Medicine, the possibility of you inheriting depression is at least 50%. And according to Mayo Clinic, as of October 2022, signs of depression can often show as early as teen years. Okay, and according to Johns Hopkins Medicine, if you are a woman, you are twice as likely to suffer from depression and equally likely to develop bipolar disorder. According to UNC Health Talk, as of August 2022, the probability of you inheriting anxiety is at least 30%. And according to Mayo Clinic, as of May 2018, signs of anxiety can show as early as childhood and thus of teen years. Other factors of being diagnosed with depression and or anxiety can be traced back from home environment. So let's say you grew up in a place where your parents are constantly fighting all the time, or you are maybe living with someone who makes you feel really uncomfortable, who may be doing unfortunate things to you. And because of that, this typically it can be traced back as young as a baby, but oftentimes is during toddler years, because that's when the brain still hasn't fully developed. So because of that, as you grow up, you begin to show signs of depression and or anxiety. If it's not based on your home environment and no one else in your family has been diagnosed with depression and or anxiety, it can sometimes develop out of nowhere, meaning that you would be the first one in your family to develop it. It can start due to many factors, such as any negative repeated situations, any trauma you might have dealt with as a young child, any negative thoughts you begin to think of because maybe you're feeling insecure because of social media and because you see all these other people and how maybe you might think that they look better than you, they're living the life that you want, or maybe you're feeling worthless. Maybe you start to begin abusing any substances such as drugs and alcohol. Even some medication that you may be using can have a side effect of anxiety and depression. So these are the three major factors when it comes to reasons why you may be diagnosed with depression and or anxiety. Once you've been diagnosed with anxiety and or depression, or even before that, eventually you will begin developing unwanted thoughts such as hurting yourself or hurting others. One of the things you should definitely do is turn to healthy coping mechanisms. So if you ever have thoughts of hurting yourself, a really good trick is to grab a hair tie and flick it on your wrist so that you don't hurt yourself in any way. Have a good sleep schedule. Studies have shown that it's really bad to oversleep or even undersleep because that can really take a toll on your depression and their anxiety. Also, don't lose any hobbies that you do. So if you really love drawing or you love writing poetry, continue doing those because doing things that you love will increase your dopamine level. At least taking that feeling of depression and anxiety away, even if it's just for a moment. It's better than losing interest in your hobbies that you really enjoy. If you are diagnosed with depression and or anxiety, the best thing you can do is look for help. Maybe talk to a guidance counselor at your school, find a psychiatrist or a therapist to talk to. But if you don't feel comfortable into talking to someone you don't really know, like a stranger, then talk to someone you know and you can trust, such as a parent, adult you can trust, or maybe it's like a really good close friend. But never turn to substances such as drugs and alcohol, because studies have shown that they can actually worsen your depression and their anxiety. In closing, don't be scared to ask for help, because your mental health matters. Thank you for tuning into this podcast. Until next time, this is Adriana Dominguez signing off.